Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Team Gennady Golovkin says that a fight with JERMALL CHARLO doesn't make sense and RYOTA MURATA off of a loss is still an option. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Wow. Now, there's a lot been going on recently in the middleweight division. RYOTA MURATA, who is a popular Japanese fighter, lost in Las Vegas to Rob Brandt. And Rob Brandt was not the favorite. He was the underdog. You had Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade's second fight at middleweight, and he was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders, who failed a drug test. That fight was axed, and Andrade ended up fighting the next available guy from Namibia, very tough, Walter Katundakwa, and Andrade won, had about 4 knockdowns, and secured the title, the WBO title. Last night, Daniel Jacobs defeated his former gym mate and sparring partner, Sergey Derevyanchenko. Hard-fought fight. Jacobs won. He had a knockdown, knocked Derevyanchenko down in the first round. Some good back-and-forth action. And yeah, Canelo and Triple G just before that in September. Now, shout out to No Sparring, and it's a boxing writer and contributor to the Ring TV, the Fight City, popular websites, also the Bangkok Post. And they had an interview with Tom Loeffler, and I tell you guys, if you didn't see it, you almost wouldn't believe it, or at least me. As you guys could see, bad news for Charlo, future of boxing. So that's JERMALL, the one that's at 160. I still want Triple G in Tokyo for RYOTA MURATA, both coming off of losses. Hashtag no sparring. So I'm like, what is this? And then it's an interview with Golovkin's promoter, K2's Tom Loeffler. And it says Loeffler talks Triple G, says no to Charlo. So I'm like, oh no, what is this? Link in the description so you guys can check it out. And I'm not even gonna read the whole thing because it's pretty upsetting, as a boxing fan to hear these things being said. But I'll pull some quotes and then just give my thoughts. So No Sparring did an interview and it says, what's next for Triple G now? Tom Loeffler says ESPN is there, DAZN is an option, we're considering both. Then they ask him, how about JERMALL CHARLO and Showtime? You could do a one and done with them. Tom Loeffler says no, Charlo doesn't make sense. That's not going to happen. Well, it seems like DAZN has the best options available for Triple G. Tom Loeffler says we will be talking to DAZN. The question is, I was told by DAZN CEO James Rushton that future boxing deals would have to be made through Oscar De La Hoya or Eddie Hearn. Tom Loeffler says they called Oscar, they could call me. Then they rebuttal. It says James said that was special circumstance because Oscar and Eddie were in competition and now they're partners, so he prefers to let them handle the boxing side of the business as opposed to him or Skipper. Tom Loeffler says then Triple G can fight on ESPN. So it sounds like, Loeffler's basically saying I'm not going through Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, other promoters to secure a deal with DAZN. And then they respond because he says then Triple G can fight on ESPN. They said, to fight who? There's nobody there. Tom Loeffler says it doesn't matter. Triple G is the attraction. DAZN is going to have to call me if they want him. Who is Canelo going to fight? Then they respond, he could unify with Jacobs. Tom Loeffler says Canelo isn't going to fight Jacobs. In fact, James Rushton was in town for the MURATA fight and likely could have met with Tom. Listen, that's all you guys need to know. Again, for the full breakdown, link in the description. This is crazy. You know, Triple G basically entertaining his side, entertaining possibly fighting RYOTA Murata. Listen, all the stuff the man fans and the casuals say is now out the window. And if your rationale of thinking is that Triple G should fight RYOTA Murata because they're both coming off losses. Now, they are both coming off losses. That is factual. However, Tom Loeffler, Triple G himself, they said that Triple G really beat Canelo. Triple G is 36 years old. See, this is what happens with new media. Like, you get trapped with what you say. So if Tom Loeffler and Triple G both believe that they were robbed again and it was the Las Vegas judges, which is why Triple G didn't win and he really should have beat Canelo both fights, then why take a clearly a soft touch opponent like RYOTA Murata, who if you read the recent interviews past Rob Brandt, he says, I have a problem with guys with quick feet. I need to work on some things. I lost, and he's embracing his loss. So why would Triple G need to take a step back like that in competition if Team Golovkin, Golovkin himself, Tom Loeffler, are trying to convince the world that, hey, everybody in Press Row had Triple G winning. Triple G really beat Canelo. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to regress in competition at age 36. It'd be one thing if you're like Ryan Garcia's age and you take an early loss, you have to get back on track because you're 19 years old. Triple G is not like a spring chicken. That's one issue. Second, how can you say JERMALL CHARLO and Triple G make no sense when the WBC orders it and it's a great fight for fans? I would love to see it. I would pay for it, And it's a great fight stylistically, action-wise. But in addition to that, the WBC ordered it. And they said at their convention in Kiev, Ukraine, that Triple G needs to fight JERMALL CHARLO, and the winner is in line for their WBC champion, Canelo Alvarez. So not only would it be it's really like you hit the lottery twice. You get to prove yourself against a guy in Charlo who's a good fighter from what we could see at the division, but obviously hasn't taken that plunge upward in competition probably ever. I'm not saying he hasn't fought anybody, but he hasn't fought someone who's a silver medalist and herald like Golovkin, but definitely at middleweight. So it would be a great fight if you could derail him or if he could beat you. It'd be a great fight stylistically, action-wise. It would be a great fight. But it's almost like hitting the lottery twice, because you would be able to prove who's better out of that. And then if you get past Charlo, then you get Canelo, or at least it'll make it look like Canelo's ducking you. If you secure the mandatory spot and Canelo refuses to give you a third fight, and Canelo's on the record saying, hey, if the fans want it, I'll give him a third fight. So it gives you a stronger positioning to negotiate from, You could just say, hey, I'm Canelo's mandatory. Look, he's ducking me if Canelo doesn't want to fight you, And Tom Loeffler saying no, it doesn't make sense. And what makes it worse is if you look at how the question from No Sparring says, how about JERMALL CHARLO and Showtime? You could do a one and done with them, meaning you could do a one fight deal, get that fight out of the way, and then be free agent again. And Tom Loeffler immediately says, no, Charlo doesn't make sense. That's not going to happen. So I would love to hear an explanation on how RYOTA Murata makes all the sense in the world, but Charlo doesn't. This is not a good look, man. And Vanes Martirosyan, he made sense. Canelo failed a drug test. That was his deal. The fight got canceled for Cinco de Mayo for May. Nobody blamed Triple G for Canelo's drug test failure. I get that. But how can you say Vanes Martirosyan made sense when last night we just watched Sergey Derevyanchenko, who was Golovkin's mandatory 2-fight, give Danny Jacobs a very tough fight. Jacobs gave Golovkin a tough fight. So, I'm not big on triangle theories, but I would have to suggest that Sergey Derevyanchenko showed us enough versus Jacobs yesterday to state that him versus Triple G would have been a much better fight that would have lasted longer than 2 rounds like Vanes Martirosyan, because Jacobs hits hard and clipped him in the first round, and Derevyanchenko was losing some of the rounds. He actually came back in round 2 and hurt Jacobs, it looked like, in round 2, and then he started getting tired, but then he got a second win around round 10 and 11. So how can you not tell me that Derevyanchenko made more sense, and you wouldn't have got stripped if you fought him, and he made more sense because he's at least durable, power, action style, amateur pedigree, and he's not going to go easy. He's a tough customer. But Vanes Martirosyan made sense, and he got knocked out in 2 years. He hadn't fought in 2 years, got knocked out, moved up in weight. That was just a bad fight. So Derevyanchenko, that was an easy shoe-in to fill if you wanted to keep the quote-unquote Mexican date. Beyond that, Vanes Martirosyan made sense, but now you're saying JERMALL CHARLO makes no sense. This is a terrible look for Team Golovkin, because it's like they're trying to pick and choose. And Errol Spence, he told me himself, he said, nah, I don't see Triple G fighting Maul. He said, I don't see him fighting Maul. He said, I see him retiring before that happens. And I might even put the clip at the end of this video. But that's what Errol Spence told me. Now, see, this is the problem with new media. You may not like what's being said, but nobody cares what you like if you cannot disprove it. The thing is, it's not about what you like, it's about what you can prove. So new media, I say my piece. I'm not perfect, I'm not a robot, but at the end of the day, I'm not being proven wrong with a lot of this stuff, and this is a bad look for Triple G's team for, besides the reasons I've already discussed. It's not a good look because the fans don't get to enjoy the best fights, and it's a bad look for them directly because it goes against the code of ethics that Team Golovkin said they lived by, and criticized others for. They said, hey, no, these other guys are clowns. These other guys are business people. They don't want to fight the best. I'm looking for all the smoke. We'll fight anyone from 154 to 168. People are ducking me. Triple G is the most avoided fighter in boxing. These are the sentiments that they said. Now when the playground is full and it's not just one bully, there's other guys who are, it's just like, let's say there's a bully at a school, let's say in elementary school, he's a bully, and he just happens to be bigger than all the other kids because he's grown faster, so the other kids are a lot shorter and not as big. And then this one bully named Philip is bigger than everyone because he had a growth spurt before them, right? Okay, you bullied those kids, but let's say you get some new transfers, kids from other school. Now these kids from the other schools, the unknown kids, right, they transfer into the school and they're about the bully size or bigger. Now all of a sudden the bully don't want no smoke. So when it was just the kids in his school immediately, he was down, he wanted all the smoke. But then now you get some transfers from other schools, and they came from out of state, their family moved from Alabama and they moved to California. Now you have some real competition. Now you have some, bully that kid from Alabama, he's bigger than you. You get what I'm saying? And then now all of a sudden you're trying to fight RYOTA, MURATA. I mean, it's just a bad look. There's no way. And the thing is, I have to keep it trill. I got to keep it consistent, and we have to be persistent with these issues. And the thing is, I was pulling for Golovkin when all those times I put pressure on Sergio. The videos are still up. Like the videos from 9 years ago or whatever it was are still on my channel. I pressured Sergio Martinez when he had done more, and had solid names on his resume. I said, man, he's a champ. He need to see Golovkin. When Cotto had the belt, beat Sergio, I said Cotto needs to see Golovkin or drop the belts. I said all of this on the channel, and it's no different now. Triple G doesn't get no special season hopper pass. So if I pressured Cotto and Sergio Martinez to fight the best or get rid of the hardware, and do what they said they were about, then You know, Triple G's no different. And you can't even use the fact, based on what his team has said, you can't even use the fact that he's no longer a champion to weasel out, because he doesn't have a stellar resume. His last couple of fights have probably been his best resume names, and those were all tough fights that were controversial. So he needs to secure, you know, at age 36 in my book, he needs to, for all this Hall of Famer, they were comparing him to Bernard Hopkins' resume. There's no comparison. B-Hop beat Felix Tito Trinidad's and De La Hoya's and, you know, Roy Jones in the rematch. He beat like names. He was at Kelly Pavlik, jumped up 2 weight classes and beat Antonio Tarver when he was supposed to get slaughtered, who knocked out Roy Jones and was the first to do it, you know? So like, there's no comparison. So at age 36, I think Triple G, he should still be pushing for the Charlo fight, because he needs a clean win, no controversy, derail a guy like Charlo. B-Hop derailed Kelly Pavlik, you know, Mayweather derailed Canelo. All the greats have done it, you know, all the greats have like put an end to somebody's run, you know, at some point. Almost all of them show like, hey, you good, but you know, you're not ready, or beat somebody like a passing of the torch, like Joshua Klitschko. Like, hey, Klitschko, you were the man, but I gotta knock you out, you know? Triple G ain't done that. He has not beaten somebody like passing of the torch veteran that was just real respected, instant Hall of Famer, and or derailed somebody who was like undefeated and had like crazy momentum, and then he showed that person, like even people who criticize JERMALL CHARLO's resume, he did it with Julian J. Rock Williams. Even like people were saying he was ducking that fight, you know, undefeated guy, a lot of skills, hasn't lost since, you know. And JERMALL CHARLO, he said, you know, there's levels and I'm at this level right now. So, you know, I can't even understand this logic. Like I said, even if you try to use the excuse that Triple G's coming off a loss, his team said that the only reason he lost was the judges. So that doesn't even make sense for him to fight RYOTA Muratas and Rob Brandt, you know, and guys that will be lesser fights, you know, for the fans, and or non-championship fights, like if you fight a Murata. But if you fight Triple G and Charlo, you get a golden ticket, a Willy Wonka golden ticket to Canelo. I mean, this is just repulsive. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video.
I gotta ask you, what's in that Texas water? We see your man JERMALL CHARLO, JERMALL CHARLO. All you guys is knocking. All you Texas boys knocking.
That's swamp water, man. Swamp water. Gators and all type of different things being there, man.
How you rate the eliminator with JERMALL CHARLO and Hugo Centeno Jr. second round knockout? Brutal.
And that was, he took him to the slaughterhouse, man. I mean, that wasn't even a fight, man. JERMALL did what he said he was gonna do, man. He looked good. He looked sharp, and he put him out.
Now, I follow you on social media. You're always in tune with the fight. When you're not fighting or when you're not supporting your friends, you're watching the fight. What do you think about, he called out Triple G? JERMALL and Triple G.
I don't think Triple G want that smoke, man. I mean, JERMALL, he's big at 160 at middleweight. He's tall, he can punch, you know, he's agile, athletic. I mean, I don't think Golovkin want to fight JERMALL. I don't see him fighting JERMALL. He'll retire before he fights JERMALL.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.